WHSQ and WCBS-FM HD2, New York.
Michael K. is on the radio today, and he ain't afraid to say what he's thinking. It's the Michael K. Show on 880 ESPN Radio.
And good afternoon, everybody. This is indeed the Michael K. Show. We thank you for joining us on this Wednesday, January 21st, 2026. Me and you for two. Those are the rules of engagement. The fastest 2 hours in sports talk radio. So much to talk about. Mike Lupica in the 2 o'clock hour. It's me and you for a while until then. I want to clear the deck so you can talk. There's a lot of people that have been trying to get in. The first couple of days of the week, we've had our share of guests, so I definitely want to involve you, my dedicated and loved co-host, and you know the number. This is really where you submit your resume to be the co-host, 1-800-919-3776. So the Mets made a deal last night. They acquired Luis Robert Jr. from the White Sox. And I got to tell you, I like the move because it's a good roll of the dice. If you take a look at his last 2 years, he has not done well. But remember, there are some players that have a hard time excelling, concentrating, and actually committing to playing for a team that is so utterly awful as the White Sox have been. Maybe Robert's one of those guys. This is a classic buy low with high ceiling. I didn't think that the Mets could go into the season with a rookie, Carson Bengay, as their center fielder. Now, they have a guy in Robert who is an outstanding defensive center fielder. He was 7 outs above average last year. He's in the 95th percentile of defenders in center field. And the Mets got themselves a player that could be great. Now, you might be rolling your eyes and go, well, what do you mean? Well, first of all, he's 28 years old. He's an incredible athlete. Despite struggling last year with a low batting average and a low on-base percentage, he still swiped 33 bases. What I would like you to do is, if you're somewhat dubious about this acquisition, take a look at Luis Robert Jr.'s 2023 season. If he could somehow approximate that kind of production for the Mets, what a home run for them. They gave up a pitcher that is not even close to being on their radar as one of their top prospects. And they gave up Luis Angel Acuna. So the pitcher is Truman Pauly. Acuna, at the most for the Mets, is a utility infielder. This is a deal that the White Sox have been pondering making for the longest time. And they kept putting high returns to anybody who wanted Robert. They really were trying to hit a home run with this guy. But the problem was he's owed $20 million. And then there's a $2 million buyout for next year's option. And they're looking to dump money while getting prospects back. Well, if you look at the White Sox payroll in one of the biggest cities in the world, it's almost non-existent. They are in a total rebuild. And Jerry Reinsdorf, in all likelihood, did not want to spend $20 million on this guy to have another bad year, or possibly have another bad year. So, in all likelihood, he told Chris Getz, his GM, get something for him. This is nothing on what the White Sox were looking to get for him the last couple of years. In fact, the Mets tried to get him at the trade deadline last year, and the White Sox were insisting on Mark Vientos. Then the Mets smartly said no. They ended up getting Cedric Mullins, who was not good for them, but they didn't give up a guy that can actually play. Now they give up Acuna. There's no role for him on this team. He's an athlete. He's not his brother. Everybody sees the last name, and they're thinking, well, he's going to be just like his brother. Well, he's not shown that. And the Mets were able to make this deal because of Steve Cohen. Again, they're over the final threshold. So acquiring a guy like Roberts cost them about $40 million. Not just 20. You got to double it and then add 10%. So rather than adding the 10%, I'm making it easy for everybody. There aren't that many teams that would be willing to do that or able to do that. And Cohen is willing and able. I think it's a good move for the Mets. I don't think you could knock it. Obviously, they've explored other trade options. Center field is not an easy place to fill. There aren't that many great center fielders out there. Now, they could have had a reuniting with Harrison Bader, and that would have cost money, and they wouldn't have to give up Acuna, but I don't think they value Acuna all that much. And they see an upside of Robert that is better than the upside that they see of Bader. Bader can play. Bader's a really, really good defender. He's proven in 2 postseasons, last year while he was hurt with the Phillies, and the year that he was with the Yankees, that he could play in the postseason. Seems impervious to pressure. Obviously, he's injury prone, so that gives you a little concern. But the Mets elected to go with Luis Robert Jr., and I like the move. Now, Yankee fans should like the move as well, because one of the teams that you felt was lurking out there for Cody Bellinger would be the New York Mets. I've heard over and over again, and listen, they could still be in on him, that the interest was not that strong, especially to come close to the deal that the Yankees already have on the table, 5 years, $160. You know, everybody keeps talking, well, maybe they go higher average annual value for a short-term deal. But would they do that? So the Yankees are at 32 right now, guaranteed for 5 years. 32 a year. If the Mets want higher average annual value, let's say something that would turn his head. $40 million a year for 3 years. Are they going to invest $82 million to get Cody Bellinger? I don't see it. I don't see it. I never saw it. So who's out there looking for Bellinger right now? Could the Blue Jays be lurking? We spoke about that yesterday. Could it be a lesser team like the Angels? Who's out there? And that's why Yankee fans continue to say on social media, you got to give him what he wants. If he wants the 7 years, give it to him. No, that's not the way you do business. Why would the Yankees bid against themselves? Unless an offer is actually presented to them. This is what Team B is willing to give us. Are you willing to counter? And I honestly don't think they would be willing to counter. I think that they've maxed out on what they think the market should bear for Cody Bellinger. And believe me, they want this guy back. That's why they've been as patient as they've been. Because you look at their offseason, what have they gotten from the outside? They got Weathers in the deal. They signed DeYoung. Well, DeYoung's not moving the needle. Weathers could be a valuable piece for them in the rotation at the beginning. And if they unlock something in him, young left-hander, throws 97 miles an hour, okay. But it's not the sexy acquisition that I think Yankee fans are looking for. And retaining Bellinger is not the sexy acquisition that Yankee fans are looking for. But I don't think they're making that acquisition. I don't think they value anybody out there to that extent. Yesterday on the Hot Stove Show on Yes, Jack Curry said they don't have, from what he could tell, any interest in Framber Valdez. I don't know what team does. He's still out there. He's the best remaining pitcher out there, and Bellinger is the best remaining hitter out there. And as I said at the beginning of the show, it's January 21st. It's still not spring training, and if you're a hitter, you don't even get to spring training until about February 15th. They've got time. And I reported this the other day. The Yankees are negotiating, talking with other teams about acquiring an outfielder. But I don't believe that there's an outfielder out there that if they made the trade for him would move the needle all that much. You know, my biggest thing that I've been promoting all year is Fernando Tatis Jr. A, I don't know if they want him. B, it doesn't seem like the Padres want to trade him. That would move the needle. That would be exciting for me. Young player, average annual value of contract, not that bad. In fact, lower. I think it's $26 million a year over his long-term contract, lower than what you'd be willing to give to Cody Bellinger, and has the dynamic personality to be a superstar in New York. But I'm not hearing that that's the conversation. And I don't know who would be available right now. But teams are still, shucking and jiving and making moves. Look what the Mets did. And as we speak right now, the Mets are having a press conference to officially introduce Bo Bichette. So things are still happening. There's still a lot of players out there. And I think at some point, this contract offer has been on the table for Bellinger for about, I think, 8 days. And, the specifics are they would give a large signing bonus, which would actually help Bellinger if there is no 2027. They're giving in opt-outs after the second and the third year, which is also pretty generous because he can be a free agent again after 2 years when he'd be 32 years old. But at this point, he hasn't taken it. At this point, it seems like he feels like there's more out there. And as we speak, at least about an hour ago, Scott Boras is at Fenway Park, where they're officially having a press conference to announce Ranger Suarez. Now, something that cropped up in that press conference that I didn't know, Ranger said that the actual pronunciation of his name, which he's never said before, is Ronhell. But he doesn't mind that people Americanize it and call him Ranger. So he's Ronhell Suarez. And he's the second pitcher for the Red Sox in their rotation. And they got a pretty good rotation. You look at Crochet, Suarez, Gray, Bayo, and then any number of their pitchers could be, they're flush with starting pitching. It could be Connolly Early, who pitched in the postseason last year, could be him as the number 5. They've got a lot of choices. Oviedo, who they acquired, they could use some of that starting pitching depth and get themselves, the bat that they didn't get when they weren't able to bring back Bregman. But their general manager, Craig Breslow, said the strength of their team is pitching. I mean, how often is the strength of the Red Sox pitching? But that's exactly what's going on this year. So you look at the East, the Red Sox have gotten better. I don't know. Because they did lose Bregman. But they've gotten their pitching better. The Orioles have gotten better. The Blue Jays, if they've gotten better by just a smidge because they did lose Bichette. And they added Cease, but they lost Bassett. They added Ponce and Okamoto. And also Rogers in the bullpen. It's a really good team. But have they made strides that has them passing the Yankees? That's what the Yankees have to calculate. But again, it doesn't look as if they're moving at all on Bellinger. This is their offer, 5 years, $160. And if he doesn't take it, then they're going to have to pivot to something. And they're going to have to deal with the fan base that's not going to be pleased. Hey, listen, I could take the pulse of the fan base every day on this show and on social media. Even if they bring back Bellinger, the fan base is not going to be thrilled because they don't feel that the team made any seismic move to improve itself. And they feel that has to be improved. There was a guy on Twitter who added me and said, you keep saying that, Vegas is saying that, they're a 93.5 win team. He goes, I think, I didn't even say I think, they're going to, he said it with certitude, they're going to struggle to be a 500 team. So I hope that person is listening because I'm going to give them some money-making advice. If when the Yankees report to spring training and you feel that they're going to struggle to be a 500 team, what I would suggest to you, and I say this with peace and love and all due respect, Get as much money as you can together. Go to your bank account. Take all of your disposable income out. Ask your friends for loans. And then go to Vegas or go to your nearest app and put it all on the under. Because if you're that sure that they're going to struggle to be 500, and Vegas has them at 93.5 wins, you've got an opportunity to make an awful lot of money. Because 93.5 wins, you've got a 12.5 win swing for them to be a 500 team. Go for it. If you think they're going to struggle to be 500, so even if that struggle is positive and they get to 83, you won't even sweat making that money. I think that's what you should act on. You should go and make that wager. You really should. So many Yankee fans out there, I'm not saying all of them, so many think that the 93.5 is folly. Make that bet. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're right. But anybody that has that kind of certainty, why wouldn't you take that certainty and that all-knowing knowledge that you have somehow accrued over the course of your life and make money off of it? So Passan is reporting right now that Cody Bellinger and the Yankees are in agreement on a free agent contract. So there you have it. Breaking news. The Yankees and Bellinger have remarried. They have remarried. And this makes sense for Cody. And I'm going to tell you why. He liked it here. Stadium is built for him. And not because of the right field line, because of right center field. He had a great year, 29 home runs, 98 runs batted in, a WAR of 5.1. And I think that once the Mets made the acquisition of Robert, they were out. I don't even know if they were ever in on Bellinger. I've told you that. Scott kept saying at the winter meetings he had 8 teams that were heavily in on Bellinger. I did not see that market. I didn't think the Cubs were in on him because they essentially gave him to the Yankees. I didn't think that the Dodgers were in on him because they released him. They didn't tender him 2 years after he won the MVP for them. I had heard rumblings that the Mets were not in on him. But those rumblings slowed down a little as the Mets kept failing at all of the things they were trying to do. But once they made the inspired move to acquire Robert, I felt for sure they were out of it, as I just intimated at the beginning of the show. And I didn't see any other team out there that was going to go 5-160 with the big signing bonus and the out clauses after the second or third year. So I give the Yankees credit. This is what they valued the player at. And they said they weren't going to budge. Now, Passan does not have the specifics. By the end of the show, I'm sure we'll have the specifics. I don't know if they went over it a little bit, changed the terms a little bit just so that Boras and Cody could save face. I don't know if Cody went to Scott and said, get this done. I want to play for the Yankees. And I don't know about the market that was out there. And maybe this is a good lesson to everybody that wants to play GM in their basement, where they say, give him the 7 years. Why are you stopping at 160? You definitely need him. It's high-stakes chicken in the hundreds of millions of dollars. That's what it is. And the Yankees said, we have run all the numbers. We like the player. This is what we value the player at. That's all there is to it. Passan goes on to say the deal with the Yankees is for 5 years. So Scott was asking for 7. He was not budging off of 7. But Scott is also very pragmatic. There's not 7 out there. There's not 7 out there. And the Yankees and the people that I spoke to, they felt that 5 for 160, this is the truth, was an overpay. But they liked the player so much that they were willing to give a little bit of an overpay just to get it done. And that's why they were so obstinate that they were not moving from that number. I don't know. I should actually amend that. You kind of have to know. There was nothing better out there. Otherwise, Scott probably would have taken it. So here's the deal, according to Jeff. 5 years, $162.5 million. So they went up $0.5 million, which is another $100,000 a year. I guess to save face for Scott, there are opt-outs after the second and third season, and he gets a $20 million signing bonus and a full no-trade clause. So in the high-stakes game of chicken, I think the Yankees won. There was no 7-year deal. There was no shorter-term deal with a humongous higher average annual value. There wasn't. The Yankees didn't blink. And I hate to say that Boras blinked or that Bellinger blinked. Maybe it's as simple as Bellinger said, I want to play for the Yankees. Stop the nonsense. Let's get it signed. So a guy who banged around between the Dodgers and the Cubs, who had to accept the 3-year, $80 million deal last year or 3 years ago with the Cubs with opt-outs. Now he has a home. So he played last year with the Yankees. He's got 5 years guaranteed, no trade clause with the Yankees. So he's going to have 6 straight years in New York in a stadium that fits him beautifully. I truly believe that that's the last major move the Yankees are going to make. Are they still talking with Milwaukee about Freddie Peralta? Yeah, they're one of many teams. But I think that price is so onerous to get a guy for 1 year, I don't know if they're going to go there. And I know, I can hear it now. And as I said, you guys are going to be involved in this show. They haven't improved that much over last year. Again, they run the metrics. And they feel that they, with this move, are still the best team in the American League. Now, you might disagree. And I don't know if that fan on Twitter still thinks they're barely a 500 team. Again, if you do think that, then you should bet the under and make a lot of money. The Yankees, with all of their internal runs that they run the season over and over and over again with the talent that they have, with the addition of Cole in June and Rodon coming back in May and Weathers being in the rotation and a full season of Schlittler and a better bench at the beginning of the year with Caballero and Rosario. They think they're better. Now, the only way that you could say that they're better is if Cole returns to being Cole and Schlittler, over a long stretch of 30 starts, is as effective as he was last year in that short frame. And you're also banking on, okay, the guy in center field, is he going to give you 34 home runs again? Is that transcendent player in right going to defy aging and be great again? Are you going to get more offensive output out of Ryan McMahon? Is Jazz going to stay healthy and actually approach 40-40? And is Ben Rice, now that he's the everyday first baseman, going to be even better than he was last year? Again, their internal runs, they think that they are better. They think that they are better. Even before Bellinger was signed or re-signed, Vegas had the Yankees as the second favorite to win the World Series. Dodgers are first by a lot, and then it's the Yankees. So I think the Yankees probably feel like they just ate a meal, but they don't feel fulfilled, Yankee fans. But you did get back Bellinger, and everybody that was criticizing them for not moving off of 5 years, 160, do you feel a little chagrin right now that they might kind of know what they're doing and they might be reading the market better than all of us read the market? They were obstinate that this was their offer. They were not going to 7 years. Boras kept saying that he had those offers out there. He obviously didn't. So Cody Bellinger is a Yankee. Jeff Passan breaks the news moments ago. We'll talk with you about it. 1-800-919-3776. Cody Bellinger re-signs at the Yankees 5 years, $162.5 million. Well, FanDuel is turning on playoff mode. All customers get a profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Each game day during the championship round, you'll find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you in the app. More boosts mean more ways to level up your playoff bets. Pick the matchups you believe in, take your shot on an upset, or build a parlay that fits the moment. Hey, the Patriots are traveling to Denver and the Rams are traveling to Seattle. Who's going to win? Then apply your profit boost and go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs keep rolling. So visit FanDuel.com/local and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. 21 plus and physically present in New York. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-511-3535. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-511-3535. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-511-3535. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-511-3535. 800-511-3535.
Show your team's spirit and say big only at Security Dodge during the Start Something New sales event. For a limited time, score an extra $500 off on top of all rebates and new incentives just for coming in and wearing your favorite team's jersey or swag. High school, college, or pro, football, basketball, hockey, and every sport in between. It's easy to win big at Security Dodge in Amityville. Visit us today or shop 24/7 at securitydodge.com.
Prizes, flyaways, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting ESPNNewYorkContests.com.
That's ESPNNewYorkContests.com.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Hey, New York and New Jersey, Boost Mobile has an unlimited talk, text, and data plan that's only $25 a month forever, meaning you'll only ever pay $25 a month for the rest of your life. Who wouldn't want unlimited wireless when it only costs $25 a month forever? If you don't, you must be one of those people who enjoy overpaying for their phone plan. $25 a month forever is truly as good as it gets, so go online and switch now at boostmobile.com. After 30 gigabytes, customers may experience slower speeds. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost Mobile Unlimited plan.
If you've been injured in an accident that wasn't your fault, then you need a lawyer who knows New York's unique personal injury and workers' compensation laws. At the Parisman Firm, they have decades of experience handling all types of accident cases and a proven track record of delivering huge results. Their team has already recovered nearly $1 billion for injured New Yorkers. From construction to car accidents and slips and falls, they've got you covered. Call the Parisman Firm now at 718-WORKERS, where your case is their cause. Get the justice you deserve today.
At City Harvest, we believe no New Yorker has to go hungry. With your help, we're on the road 365 days a year, rescuing over 77 million pounds of nutritious food and delivering it free to millions of New Yorkers, transforming surplus food into sustenance, sustainability, and smiles, rallying thousands of New Yorkers to power a network of nourishment across our city. One day, one meal, and one New Yorker at a time. That's how we feed good. Donate at cityharvest.org.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Well, if you missed it, Jeff Passan broke the news that Cody Bellinger is again a New York Yankees, agreeing to a 5-year, $162.5 million contract, no trade clause, outs after the second and third year, $20 million signing bonus. One thing I will say, and I said this last week too, I never understand why players or teams hold on such ceremony when it comes to no trade clause. If you want to trade somebody, you could trade them. I mean, Nolan Arenado had a no trade clause. He got traded. You just convince somebody we don't want you anymore. It's better if you go somewhere else. Maybe you sweeten the pot. No trade clauses don't mean anything. They don't mean anything. And we'll see if it does what Mika Zibanejad. He has a no trade clause. Let's see if he gets traded from the Rangers. Very rarely does a no trade clause cripple you that you can't trade somebody. So if that's the last thing between making the deal or not, give him the no trade clause. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. And the man who broke it, the man who seems to break everything, is our good friend Jeff Passan, the baseball insider, baseball genius, the man about town of ESPN. He joins us now. Hey, Jeff, how you doing?
Far from a genius, just a man trying to do his job, Michael K.
And doing it so damn well. That's what I say. All right, so I don't know if you could say there's a winner or a loser, but the Yankees had a valuation on this guy, and they didn't budge from it. And Scott kept saying there was stuff out there. Jeff, I guess by them agreeing to this, there wasn't that 7-year contract out there, and there wasn't a higher average annual value on a short-term deal. The Yankees evaluated this guy. This is what he's worth, and I guess baseball looked at it that way as well.
Well, Michael, there was definitely more money on a shorter-term deal. Absolutely. Higher average annual value for sure. Cody Bellinger could have gone the Bo Bichette route. He could have gone the Kyle Tucker route. Maybe not to the extent that they did, but he could have gotten a lot more money on a shorter-term deal. But it just goes to show the contract structures in Major League Baseball right now are so interesting because you have these different paths that you can go down. You can go for the long-term Juan Soto style deal where you know you're going to be somewhere for the entirety of your career. You can go for the ultra short-term, high average annual value dollar deal. And that's what Kyle Tucker chose instead of the $350 million with a bunch deferred that the Blue Jays had out there for him. Or you can sort of go in between. And if you want the length in Cody Bellinger's case, if, the bottom falls out for one reason or another, he's got 5 years, but he's also got the optionality to get out after a second and third season. And this was sort of one of those in-between contracts. No, the 7 years at the dollars that he was looking for a commitment like that were not there at the end of the day. And the Yankees, they were pretty firm for a while. They were saying, we have him at 5 years around $30 million. Then it went to 31. And there was the belief that they were not going to go over $32 million a year. It wound up being 32.5. And then you could start rejiggering the money. So there's a $20 million signing bonus. You add in the opt-outs. You got the full no trade clause. And suddenly a deal that, probably could have been done a long time ago, but took time to really see how the market worked out, went across the finish line.
All right. So you said that he could have had higher average annual value, shorter term deal. Do you know the teams that would have been involved in that, and what kind of money we're talking?
I don't have the specifics on the offers. I don't know for sure what offers were made. I do know that I spoke with teams where concepts, at very least, were floated for in the high 30s and potentially, if it's a 2-year or a 3-year deal, getting up into the neighborhood of $40 million a year. But look, 32 and a half in the place you wanted to be is a very good outcome for Cody Bellinger. It's a very good outcome for the New York Yankees. What happened is what should have happened. And so I don't think there's a loser in this situation. I think both sides won here, and the New York Yankees are a lot better team going into the 2026 season than they were without Cody Bellinger.
With I'm just intrigued with the shorter contract and the higher average annual value. You just said maybe 39, could even approach 40. A team that's over the final threshold, though, would they be willing to, essentially invest $80 million for a year of Cody Bellinger?
The Dodgers are paying Kyle Tucker $120 million this yeyer. The Mets are paying $42 million for Luis Robert and paying, $90 for Bo Bichette.
Right.
That's where we are, Michael. They're in baseball, there are haves and there are have-nots, and the haves use their money to essentially run the free agent market. And that's just kind of how it is. When you get to certain levels, when it comes to money, it doesn't matter anymore. It's just about championships at that point. That's how the Dodgers are operating, is it not? In no universe would you look at Kyle Tucker and say, I'm going to pay $120 million for this guy's production. If we're just looking at, very simply the cost per win in baseball. So the way wins above replacement works, for those who don't understand, every win is valued at about $10 million. So you would need to be a 12-WAR player to make back the $120 that the Dodgers are spending. Kyle Tucker's got nowhere close. Nobody puts up 12-win seasons. It's like the domain of Mike Trout, Mickey Mantle, the best players in history, Babe Ruth. Shohei Ohtani hasn't put up a 12-win season. No,
Judge has put up an 11, right? Judge has put up an 11?
Yeah, he has. He's gotten close. He's gotten close. It's more, though, the idea that when you're trying to win championships, every little bit matters, and the marginal cost per win gets more expensive the more wins you have.
Now, Evan Drylick, who writes for The Athletic, he wrote a story today where he said the Tucker contract was a tipping point, that the owners are definitely going to go for cap. Do you agree with that was the tipping point, that other owners go, we can't do this. We just can't do what the Dodgers did?
If you saw I think it was the next sentence in the story, and Evan is excellent at what he does and is as good of a labor reporter as there is covering professional sports, period. I believe the next sentence, or maybe the next paragraph, sort of said from a couple other sources, it's not quite that. It's a dramatic interpretation, but I think the fair thing to say about it is there are a lot of pissed off people around baseball right now. And that contract, more than the tipping point, I think it was just a reminder of where the game is these days and where it has gone in the system that exists right now. And I think if Kyle Tucker signs your classic standard 10-year, $350 million deal, just the straight-up long-term play, owners still want a cap. This was just one of those things that I think alarmed them, not just the size of the deal at a net present value of $57.1 million a year, but when you have a 110% penalty on that, you're spending $119.9 million on one guy. Michael, that's bigger than the current payroll, 12 teams in Major League Baseball. And yet, for all of the talk of a salary cap that's coming, and for all of the support, frankly, that it has, and I think a majority of fans, both diehard and casual, do support the idea of a salary cap, I still get back to the question, what does a cap really bring? Does a cap bring some sort of guaranteed competitive balance or parity? I've never seen anything that tells me that is a causative relationship. You can argue plenty of ways that it's correlated, that hey, the NFL has, teams going from last place to first place within a matter of years regularly. But you also look at the NFL, and what is it? 2 teams have been in the last 14 AFC championship games. So how much parity is there really? On the other hand, when you say salary cap to players, they grab their silver bullet and garlic and try and get the vampire to go away, because I just don't see a scenario in which they're going to agree to that. And there's a real question for owners right now. And it's a question that players have to answer to a lesser extent, but owners are the ones who are pushing this idea of the salary cap. And the question is baseball broken enough that you are going to potentially damage it long-term in pursuit of something that you are very unlikely to get? Is there an alternative solution to that does try to level the playing field, which has gotten out of control? Somebody who have stood up for the Dodgers for years for their practices. They are working within the system. They are taking advantage of the resources they have. I can't blame them or fault them for it. I blame and fault the system for exacerbating this disparity that continues to grow among the highest revenue teams and the low revenue teams. And yet I can't at the same time, Michael, sit here and say about those low revenue teams and the owners who own them that they're doing their absolute best, that they're putting the money that they make and the revenue sharing that they get toward the right place, which is player payroll and trying to field competitive teams. All this is to say, baseball's labor landscape is screwed up right now, and they have a year to fix it. And they really, really do not want to screw up what they've got right now, coming off a phenomenal World Series with a media rights deal that could land them an absolute windfall. I could talk about this for hours, but you have questions to ask.
Well, one quick thing I would say about the NFL. The same teams have been in the Super Bowl over the last, 15 years. But I always think that the smartest organization, even with or without a cap, is always going to persevere. The Kansas City Chiefs could not be in Major League Baseball and be that good for them. They couldn't have kept Patrick Mahomes. And we see that with the Kansas City Royals.
Michael, don't do that. Yes, they could. The Kansas City Royals kept Bobby Witt. I know Bobby Witt's not.
But
Patrick
that's one
Mahomes,
player. They went to the World Series 2 years in a row. They couldn't go 10 years in a row. They eventually lose their players.
I mean, but do they? If guys are willing to sign long-term contracts before they reach free agency? And look, Michael, look at the free agent classes the next 2 years. Not the guys who are going to be opting out or have the potential to opt out, but look at the free agent classes the next 2 years. The reason that they are as barren as they are is because so many great players have signed pre-free agency or in some cases pre-arbitration long-term contracts. Mm-hmm. You are capable of keeping a player. You just have to make it worth his while. And in Bobby Witt's case, that took $288.7 million, by far the largest contract the Kansas City Royals have ever given out. And yet, how can you argue that the small markets can't compete when the Royals, one of the smallest, I live in Kansas City, Michael, you know this, one of the smallest markets in North American professional sports can give a guy $300 million. Maybe not in free agency because they're going to be bidding against the Yankees and the Dodgers and the Cubs and the Mets and the Red Sox and the other, the Phillies, the financial leviathans out there. But there is room to get those deals done, and you just have to be willing to pay what a guy wants.
Well, and the Indians, the then Indians did it, and they kept together a really good team for a long time. That's what they did. But again, it has to take smart there aren't a lot of smart organizations, I don't think.
I think there are a lot of smart organizations, actually. I think that more organizations now with the – I'm not going to say the takeover of analytics because it's not as if scouting doesn't exist anymore, but the proliferation of analytics into baseball organizations has really leveled the playing field. You've got some organizations that do better data interpretation, that have models that predict better, but by and large, a lot of organizations are very similar now, which is what comes down to management. How do you manage your organization? And what do you do to differentiate yourself from other ones that have the same data as you do? How do you interpret it better than them? That's the real fight these days in baseball. How do we figure things out with everybody having the same sort of baseline of knowledge?
Jeff Passan is our guest. I know you're busy. I have two quick ones before we finish up. I like the play by the Mets on Luis Robert. Do you or not?
Very much so. I think I like it in the context that with Bo Bichette And with Marcus Semien and with Jorge Polanco, they got steady, good at bats, professional hitters. They got guys, and Semien, his high floor is as much because of his defense now as his bat, but he's not going to go up there and regularly embarrass. Robert is it's a high-risk swing. He's been terrible offensively the last 2 years. The year before that, he hit 38 home runs and stole 20 bases and played good defense in center field. And at very least, if Robert still can't hit, he can catch the ball and he can throw the ball. And you're going to have a solid presence out there. You don't have to force Carson Benj into center field. You don't have to play Tyrone Taylor full-time necessarily out there. The Mets have options now. And what I like about their lineup is it just reminds me of one of those lineups that pitchers don't like pitching to, because Lindor and Soto and Bichette and Polanco, they're all incredibly annoying at bats for pitchers. They're guys who can hit any kind of pitch, fast, slow. They're not going to get beat up in the zone. They cover the plate really well. And I think the Mets offense, it took a little while, took some patience from Mets fans. I think it's really rounded into shape, though.
And let's talk about the Yankees. As you know, you read social media. Yankee fans are not happy. They're running back a team that got beaten up by the Blue Jays. Do you think this Yankee team is good enough to win the American League?
Yes, I do. Before the Bellinger signing, I think that there's a chance that they do. Now I think there's a significantly better chance that they do. And, man, the AL East is going to be a bloodbath this year, and I'm totally here for it. There are a lot of good baseball teams in that division. I mean, even the Rays, who right now probably project to be the last place team, you stick them in the Central and they're competitive. The Yankees and the Phillies actually have had pretty similar off seasons, and it's funny that fans are not happy that respectively with Phillies and Yankees you're bringing back 96 and 94 win teams, and on top of that, I think where the improvement's going to come from the Yankees, they're getting Garrett Cole back, and they're going to get a half season from him, half a full year of Cam Schlittler. I think David Bednar, I know they got him last year, but really has solidified the back end of the bullpen. You're going to get full Ben Rice at first base now with a little bit of Cody Bellinger. It's all just going to come down to health, isn't it? Like that, when you're talking about a division like this, it just is going to matter who stays healthiest, and whoever that is among those four teams at the top, I think is going to be the one that wins this division.
Great stuff. Another great break by you. Great breaking news about the Bellinger situation. I thank you for popping on when I know you're very busy. Thanks, Jeff.
Pleasure's always mine, Michael. Take care, pal.
You got it. Jeff Passan, ESPN. And if you just joined us, Cody Bellinger is, in fact, the New York Yankees. 5 years, $162.5 million. And a $20 million signing bonus, opt-outs after the second and third year. So he will essentially earn $85 million first 2 years of his contract before the first opt-out. So he'll have in 2026, $32.5 million, 2027, $32.5 million. So that comes out to $65 million, and then the $20 million on top of that. So $85 million for the first 2 years. Now, if 2027 doesn't take place, so that means in 2026, this upcoming season, Cody Bellinger will earn $52.5 million. All right, we get to your phone calls when we get back. It's the K Show right here on ESPN New York.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Talk about stepping up. Bang! Bang! It's time to level up your game. Introducing the all-new ESPN app. All of ESPN, all in one place. Your home for the most live sports and the best championship moments.
The electricity is palpable.
Step up your game with no annual contract required. It's the ultimate fan experience. Level up for more on the ESPN app or at stream.espn.com. Sign up now.
Hey, hockey fans. Now with BetMGM, you can win a share of $10,000 in bonus bets when your anytime goal scorer nets 3. Enter BetMGM's Hat Trick Jackpot all season long for your chance to win some major bonus bets. It's easy. Just log in and opt into the promotion. Then make an anytime scorer bet on any hockey game of at least $10. If your player of choice scores 3 goals instead of just 1, you'll win your share of the $10K in bonus bets. There's nothing quite like watching a game with a hat trick, especially when it means you could win a share of $10,000 in bonus bets. Ready to shoot your shot? Download the app today. BetMGM. Make it legendary.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. New Jersey only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards or bonus bets that expire in 7 days.
Hi, this is John D'Agostino from D'Agostino & Associates, the injury firm. I've talked about how a construction accident took my father's leg. The heavy prosthetic he wore looked nothing like the high-tech limbs we have today. It was crude wood and metal, held together by bolts that dug into his skin and left painful ulcers. But the thing I remember about my dad is how he never complained. He put on his prosthetic leg and he went to work. He coached my baseball teams, danced, sang karaoke, and even loved to travel. He may have limped, but he always held his head up high and he lived with dignity. At D'Agostino & Associates, I spent over 35 years building a law firm that helps accident victims and those in need of their Social Security disability benefits. We fight till our clients get the money and dignity they deserve. So call us today at 1-800-BITE-BACK. That's 1-800-248-3222. We have offices throughout New York and New Jersey. So don't tell me personal injuries aren't personal. I know what they can cost a family. I've been there, and I'll be there for you. D'Agostino Law. Bite back.
More people trust their hearts to New York Presbyterian than any other hospital in New York. It's because New York Presbyterian has the most experienced cardiovascular doctors, treating a full range of heart conditions, from heart failure to valve repair, with the most advanced treatments. Find a doctor at nyp.org/heart. New York Presbyterian. New York Presbyterian Hospital, based on U.S. News & World Report 2025 to 2026 cardiology, heart, and vascular surgery rankings.
Rich Eisen here. LinkedIn Jobs is stepping things up with their new AI assistant so you can feel confident you're finding top talent. Get this. Employees hired through LinkedIn are 30% more likely to stick around for at least a year compared to those hired through the leading competitor. Hire right the first time. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/Eisen, then promote it to use LinkedIn Jobs' new AI assistant, making it easier and faster to find top candidates. That's linkedin.com/Eisen to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. And promote it to use LinkedIn Jobs' new AI assistant, making it easier and faster to find top candidates. That's linkedin.com/Eisen to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, fans! Welcome back to Fansville's Cheers and Tears. Oh. Okay, so like everybody deals with losing, right? To a rival on a last-second field goal. Whatever, it's fine. I'm totally fine. But I cope with losing with an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Those 23 flavors are like so delicious. They totally wash away the pain of your college football team taking a big fat L. College football, it's a pepper thing.
You live for this. The wins, the losses, the slam dunks, and the buzzer beaters. The dream that this is your team's year. Hope, it's what keeps you coming back. So you represent with anticipation and with pride. Because when everything's on the line, your support means everything. That's why the NBA Store is here to support you. Check out the largest selection of official NBA gear at NBAstore.com. A Fanatics experience.
Well, the Yankees have been saying it since the end of the year. They had the intention of keeping Cody Bellinger. That's what they wanted to do, and they do keep him, essentially with the contract that they were dug in on. They moved, I guess, $0.5 million over the 5-year deal. So it's $162.5 million over 5 years with a $20 million signing bonus, no trade clause, opt out after the second or third year. So let's go. Let's see what you're thinking. Let's go to Troy in New Jersey. Troy.
Hey, Mr. K, you're the man.
Thanks,
I
man.
just
What's
want to say I'm so happy that Bellinger's back. But now that he's back, I was wondering what you think. Do you think they're still gonna, maybe towards the trade deadline, think about using either Jones or Dominguez as, trade bait if they need them? Because they only got Grisham for a year. What do you think about that, Mr. K?
Well, I think, Dominguez is essentially a bench player, which I don't think is wise to keep a 22-year-old on the bench. You can have a bench player, more of a veteran, that could play out there. So either he's going to be playing at Scranton in AAA because he still has options, or they will use him as trade bait. But I think it's too early to give up on him. I think there is talent there. I think that Spencer Jones probably does become trade bait. But you also mentioned the thing that has to be considered. Grisham signed for 1 year. So at the end of that, they're going to need a center fielder. The Yankees, I don't think, project Dominguez as a center fielder. If they had, he would have played there last year. When you say to them, well, he played center field in the minors, they'll go, he didn't play center field very well. So they look at him more as a corner guy. Now, after Grisham leaves, I think it's pushing it to say Bellinger could be your everyday center fielder because I think that's his weakest outfield position. I think his strongest are the corners and also plays first base quite well. So I don't think you just give away a Dominguez or a Jones. I would hold on to Dominguez more than I would hold on to Jones. I can't overlook the swing and miss factor in Jones's minor league stats, which would only be, I think, worsened in the major leagues against better pitching. So maybe they do look to trade him. He is 25 years old, and there's only so long you're going to keep a guy on the 40-man roster. And he hasn't made it up to the big leagues yet. So I think both of those guys become trade bait. I don't see a fit for Dominguez on this team at this point because, why waste a 22-year-old getting 250 at-bats in the major leagues? Just doesn't make sense. Let's go to Cullum in the Bronx. Cullum.
Michael, what's going on? So, yeah, obviously I'm happy that Bellinger is back. Definitively, you would say he was probably our second-best player last year when you factor in his ability on all different defensive spots, and he was our second best, and he was their second-best hitter overall.
Right.
It's great. They are, like, as you said, essentially running it back. Hopefully a lot of these players can continue to improve and perform. But the similar point as the last caller, you got two young guys in Dominguez and Spencer that are essentially not going to be able to play. Like, they have to do something. What do you think with how this outfield is going to shake up? And is there a possibility that they can move on from those guys and try to improve, something else in the infield, something like with the catcher? Because right now I could probably say the only people you could look at and say as a reliable offensive players is second base and first base. I think it's pretty proven that almost everybody as a fan is out on Volpe, and we've already seen that, the third baseman McMahon is probably going to be a 200, maybe 210 hitter when you don't have much at catcher. But you have now a bolstering, overflowed outfield. Like, we got to do something about that.
Well, I mean, the Yankees feel that they could do more with McMahon. Time will tell. I know the fan base could be out on Volpe. The Yankees are not. They still believe that there's something there that they could tap into, and no one's going to give up on Austin Wells after one subpar offensive year. Remember, he hit 20 home runs, and he happens to be a really good defensive catcher. So even if he hits 220, there's value in Austin Wells, a left-handed catcher. So don't give up on him so quickly. I look at it this way, and Yankee fans push back on it all the time. With all of these supposed holes in the lineup, they led the major leagues in runs scored last year. I know the eyes are rolling right now for those that don't believe. They led the majors in runs scored despite a bottom of the order that had a bunch of 200 hitters. They led the majors in runs scored, and that's how we keep score in sports, runs and points. And when you score the most runs and points, you'll end up winning much more games than you will lose. 1-800-919-3776 is the number. Game Time brought to you by Tullamore Irish Whiskey, because when it's game time, it's Tully time. 7:30, the Knicks host the Nets at Madison Square Garden. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. right here on 880 ESPN. The Knicks have lost 9 of 11. Awful loss against Dallas. How do they bounce back against the Nets tonight in New York City? 9:30, the Islanders are in Seattle to play the Kraken. Tullamore Dew, the original triple distilled, triple blended, triple cask matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew. Try the new Tullamore Dew Honey during today's action. Glass up to enjoying Tullamore Dew responsibly. We come back, more of your phone calls. Bellinger is a Yankee. Luis Robert Jr. is a Met. Both good moves for both New York teams. And we have many other sports stories as well that we will hit on. Mike Lupica will join us at 2:30. It's the K Show, rolling until Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg, which starts at 3 right here on ESPN New York.
880 ESPN, WHSQ, and WCBS-FM HD2, New York. A Good Karma Brands radio station.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Rich Eisen here. Hiring for your small business can feel like a full-time job, but LinkedIn Jobs AI Assistant takes the heavy lifting out of it. It filters applicants based on the criteria you set and suggests 25 great fit candidates daily so you can invite them to apply and keep things moving. Hire right the first time. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/Eisen, then promote it to use LinkedIn Jobs' new AI Assistant, making it easier and faster to find top candidates. That's linkedin.com/Eisen to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Then promote it to use LinkedIn Jobs' new AI Assistant, making it easier and faster to find top candidates. That's linkedin.com/Eisen to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
Benjamin Franklin, sir, I've just received news.
Speak.
They're multiplying you.
Multiplying me?
Yes, many times.
Multiple Benjamins?
Shall I stop it?
No.
Multiply your Benjamins with New York Lottery's Extra Multiplier Scratch-Off games. Play for the chance to multiply your winnings up to 100 times. Prizes up to $3 million.
I've won! I've multiplied myself!
We won! Please play responsibly. Must be 18 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
What if your instincts could pay off? With Robinhood Prediction Markets, you could put your knowledge to work on the events that matter to you. Prediction Markets isn't just sports. It's the Fed rate decision, your favorite award show, and so much more beyond the playing field. Trade events with Robinhood. Visit Robinhood.com/predict. That's Robinhood.com/predict. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.
A Progressive Home and Auto Bundle can protect you round the clock, but we can't protect you from those painful moments in sports.
Oh, I can't believe we blew a 5-touchdown lead.
Sure, but you got to feel like they were going to win for almost the entire game.
But I was about to buy playoff tickets.
So you were prepared for a good time. That's pretty nice.
It's the worst loss any team has ever had.
And you got to witness history.
Okay, we're done here.
Well, at least your home and auto are protected with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Hey, it's Rich Eisen for Pella Windows and Doors. Sometimes teams take a time out to regroup and call the right play. When it comes to your home, Pella Windows and Doors always has the winning game plan. They do it every day, and that's why your neighbors trust them. Visit Pella.com/Eisen today. Right now, Pella Windows and Doors of New Jersey is offering buy one, get one 50% off and every day 0% financing. Some restrictions may apply. See store for details. Offer ends January 31st, 2026.
Welcome back to the show. So both New York teams get outfielders. Luis Robert Jr. acquired in a trade yesterday, and at about 1:15 today, Jeff Passan breaks at the Yankees, and Cody Bellinger have come to an agreement for a 5-year, $162.5 million contract. I love the trade for the Mets. Talk about buying low and a huge upside. This kid has an amazing amount of talent, can steal you 50 bases if he stays healthy. This is a tweet from Scott Merkin, who covers the White Sox for MLB.com. He's been a White Sox beat writer for 23 years. And this is what he said about Robert. Robert was a tireless worker, a supremely talented player, and a really solid fit in the White Sox clubhouse. He also handled 1.5 years of trade rumors about as well as anyone could be expected. His issue is staying healthy, which he has discussed. If he does, he will thrive. It's an inspired pickup for the Mets. Again, Met fans might not think it's sexy enough. You had enough of sexy enough when you signed Soto, one of the best hitters of all time. Now you got to fill in your spots. They're changing the team on the fly. They got rid of a team, the basis of a team that he didn't think was good enough to go all the way. So he lets the first baseman go. He trades the second baseman. He trades the left fielder. He's got a different team now. Brings in Bo Bichette, who's a great hitter, doesn't swing and miss a lot. I think he's a .321 lifetime hitter with runners in scoring position. And now he brings in Luis Robert. And if Luis Robert doesn't hit, and I believe that the hit tool is there, but if he doesn't hit, he's an outstanding center fielder. 7 outs above average last year. Great arm, great speed. Just keep him healthy, and the Mets have a good sports science department. It's a nice pickup for the Mets. It really is. Met fans should be really, really happy. And Yankee fans, I don't know if you can make a lot of Yankee fans happy, but they do get back a guy who's built for this ballpark, and that's Cody Bellinger. If you look at Cody's numbers in the Bronx, they dwarf the numbers that he has on the road. Not that his numbers on the road are bad, but his swing is so perfect for Yankee Stadium. His athletic ability is so perfect to play left field at Yankee Stadium. And the Yankees held firm. They evaluated the guy at a certain number, and that's the number they got him at. Scott Boras kept talking about a 7-year deal that was out there. It obviously wasn't. Jeff Passan said there were deals out there, short-term, higher average annual value. He said some of those deals approached $39 million a year. But maybe it is true that Cody wanted to stay with the Yankees. And he took the Yankee deal. He gets a no-trade clause. He gets opt-outs after the second and third year. And Bob Nightingale just also writes that if there is a lockout in 2027, that opt-out moves up a year. So it would be after the third and fourth year. So the Yankees do get 2 years out of him, which, they definitely want because they're giving him a $20 million signing bonus. So that was a good play by the Yankees. Okay, if there's no baseball in 2027, we don't want him opting out after that. He can opt out after 2028. So they give themselves some protection. Let's go back to the phones. Doug in Queens. Doug, talk to me.
Hey, Mike, how are you?
I'm good. You?
I'm great. Just wanted to say I'm a lifelong fan. Been listening to you since I can remember. You do some great work.
Thank you.
All right. So when I first heard that the Mets got Luis Robert, I was ecstatic. I honestly thought it was going to be Mauricio, Vientos, or Beatty that was going. When I heard it was Acuna, I was over the moon. My question to you is a two-parter. Mm-hmm. Do you think the Mets are done in their 1-9 everyday lineup, or do you think they'll go and get another bat? And in terms of their pitching, do you think they'll go more towards the Framber Valdez route of free agency or go for the trade of Peralta or Skubal?
I think they're going to go for the trade, Doug. I don't think they're going to be involved with Valdez because Valdez, I'm reading Valdez wants 7 years, and that's just not the way David Stearns plays baseball. He's not going to give a pitcher of that age a 7-year contract. He was willing to give Yamamoto the long-term deal because he was relatively young. So I don't think that they're in play on Valdez. I think they're still in play for Gore. They're probably sniffing around Skubal. I don't know if Skubal's acquirable, and definitely Peralta as well. As far as position players, I would assume they're done. I mean, they could still probably absorb another outfielder if they don't want to go with a youngster out there of the 3 outfielders. Right now it's Robert and Soto, and then we'll see exactly what they do with the other position. It could be Bengay. We'll see. But, they have an ability to acquire another outfielder. The infield is set. Their catcher is set. Center and right is set. DH they could play around with. They could put Beatty in left. Vientos could play some first. Polanco could DH as well. Vientos could DH. I think that right now job one is to improve the starting pitching. Let's go to Julian in Atlanta. Julian, what's up?
Hey, Michael. How you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good. First-time caller. I just wanted to say the Yankees did what they needed to do. Like you said, they didn't budge. They held their offer, and they just got to keep these moves going. I mean, right now I think they've got 3 options. I just want to get your opinion on 2 of them. Biggest thing that they're missing that they didn't have last year is bench players. We need a Goldschmidt-level bat that's on the bench that if we get injuries, we can bring in. And we need a right-handed catcher. If that's Ryan Jeffers or someone, let's use this trade capital to get a bat on the bench and get a right-handed catcher. I just want to know, who do you think that catcher should be? Because Wells, as much as I love him, is not an offensive catcher, and we need somebody that can carry that load.
Well, I mean, Wells hit 20 home runs, Julian. You can't say he's not an offensive catcher. I think he had a drop-off last year, but he happens to be a good defensive catcher, and I would agree with you. I don't like, backup catcher being the same side hitter as the starter. And not only that, Ben Rice is also a lefty, and he could catch at times. So they need to get a righty catcher. I don't know who that catcher could be, but that's definitely something they have to look into. As far as the bench, a lot of the heavy lifting that the Yankees did came at the trade deadline last year. They improved their bullpen. They got Bednar, who's their closer, so they didn't have to take part in the relief pitcher sweepstakes during the offseason. They believe that Doval found something at the end, and they think that Bird got straightened out while he was in the minor leagues. They like the arms that they have out there, so I think they're okay with that. And they also improved their bench at the time. Caballero's a good bench player. Rosario is an outstanding hitter against left-handed pitching. He's also on their bench, and he could play several positions, including the outfield. And you're going to get Oswaldo Cabrera back. So I'm not sure that they need to improve the bench like you think they do. Remember, they did not have Cabrera after he got hurt in that awful slide at home plate. They do have him this year. He's a versatile guy, switch hitter, and can play several positions as well. So, I mean, could they bring in somebody else? Could they bring in a right-handed hitting outfielder? I guess you can use another outfielder. In terms of like backing up Rice at first, that's going to be Bellinger. Maybe you go out and you get an Austin Hayes for the outfield, get a right-handed bat out there. But I think for the most part, guys, the heavy lifting is done. They could surprise everybody and go out and get another starting pitcher. That I could see. But I think their lineup is their lineup. Jeremy in Long Island. Jeremy.
Hey, how's it going, Mike?
Good. How are you?
Good. How are you? I'm good. So very, very happy about Bellinger. He was pivotal in their success last year, and he's going to be pivotal in their success this year. And a lot of Yankees fans like him. He puts the bat in the ball. He showed he's not going to strike out a ton. But you said that they had the most runs scored, which is great in the regular season. But we all know, especially being a Yankees fan, in the playoffs, that's not the same thing. It doesn't always happen that way. Mm-hmm. So they got a bunch of guys, and their formula is their formula. That's what it's going to be. I mean, that's just the way it is. I think they need another guy that can put the bat on the ball, but also have some power. And I don't know the logistics of it, but I think with that outfield being as stacked as it is, you got 3 guys as you only could play, and you have 5 guys for the position. I think one of them, Dominguez or Grisham, could be trade bait, and then maybe add him with with the second baseman Chaz or a pitcher Will Warren, who I'm not really high on. He's good. He's a very good pitcher. Don't get me wrong, but I think you could get Ketel Marte. I think that guy, adding him into that lineup, whether you bat him leadoff or somewhere in the middle, I think would be a great addition. A guy that could bat 280, 290, and give you close to 30 home runs, I think would be and he's a veteran. He's been there before. I don't think it would be too big for him. Obviously, the Diamondbacks aren't going to want to get rid of him. But I think if you could, give an offer like that, I think Dominguez still has a lot of a ceiling where not that many people know what he can do. If he goes somewhere else or gets a lot of playing time, he might end up being a really, really good player. So maybe him and Jazz and maybe a pitcher and a prospect can get that deal done. And I think that would be a great piece to, because right now it's the same team and it's going to go and they could do great. They could have 120 wins. They go in the playoffs and it's the same story. No one wants to see that. I think adding one more guy, I think their pitcher rotation is going to be great. I think that's their strong suit. And I think adding a guy like that can just be the piece to the puzzle that they've been missing and might be able to push them over the edge. What do you think about that?
The value in Marte to me, he is 32 years old, but his average annual value is very, very low and certainly absorbable for any team. But it's going to take a lot. And the Diamondbacks, they had him on the market for a while. And in the last 2 weeks, they said he's not being traded. They have said he's not being traded. I don't think the Diamondbacks would take back Jazz Chisholm. That's where he initially started. So, and you're giving up Jazz Chisholm. Yeah, that's 30 and 30 you're giving up. For a guy that, essentially missed 2 months, he was 30 and 30. And, yeah, there might be lapses of concentration. But if you could ever get him to lock in and stay healthy, he's a 40-40 guy. But I don't think he's going to stay long-term with the Yankees. This is the last year of his contract. But I don't think that the Diamondbacks want to take a guy in the last year of his contract. Is Will Warren enough to get him? Dominguez, I think, is intriguing if you want to use him as trade bait. But there are a lot of teams that want Marte that are certainly more in need of Marte than the Yankees, and one of them is the Red Sox. But the Diamondbacks have to take him off the market. They're supposedly not even listening. They're not even listening on any deal. 1-800-919-3776. Steve in Westchester. Steve.
Hey, Mike. How you doing? Hope
Good. How
all
are
is
you,
well.
Steve?
Good. Yeah, I was listening to you with Jeff, and when he brings up the NFL point about the salary cap, and you brought it up immediately, like about Kansas City, like it's not in the MLB. It's more than just one player.
Mm-hmm.
In football, it's about a quarterback. If you have a quarterback under the cap, most likely you're going to be a winning team. But in baseball, under a cap, it's not like that. It's not one guy. I mean, you can get one superstar, but to be a winning club, you're going to need more than one of those guys. And like you said, the Kansas City Royals is a perfect example. There's no way they were going to keep all those guys. It's just not possible under a cap.
And the interesting thing, Steve, and I think if you listen to the show, I have incredible, mad respect for Jeff Passan. But that was not an argument for today. And today's about Luis Robert and Cody Bellinger with the New York teams. But I vigorously disagree with what he said. Great teams that are small market teams could have short runs. They can. They very rarely have long runs. So if you ask Bobby Witt Jr. today, are you sorry you took that contract with the Royals? He'd say yes 1,000,000 times. Not because he doesn't like the Royals, but a talent like Bobby Witt Jr., with the way salaries are skyrocketing. Bobby Witt Jr. is a better player than Kyle Tucker. Plays a premium position, great defensively, power, speed, average, everything. He would get $60 million a year. So he locked himself into a long-term deal. And there are teams that just can't afford to make a mistake on a young player giving him a long-term contract. Now, the Royals took a chance, and you know what? They've got him. And good for them, but that doesn't mean that they're going to be competitive for a long time. And, Exhibit A would be the Kansas City Royals of 2014, 2015. They went to the World Series in 14, they lost. They went to the World Series in 2015, they won. And then they had to get rid of everybody because they couldn't afford the Hosmers and the Moustakas. They couldn't. And we saw it before with the Royals. They couldn't afford Johnny Damon. They couldn't afford Jermaine Dye. They couldn't afford Carlos Beltrán. Congratulations for getting to the Hall of Fame with Carlos. They couldn't. Very rarely do small market teams, can they keep their team together. The Kansas City Chiefs can pay Patrick Mahomes market value because everybody's working off the same template of the money they could spend. And he said, well, all teams are smart. And then he pivoted and said something like, they just have to manage themselves better. I think all teams have access to similar information, and they decipher it differently. But some of them are not smart. There are teams that are not smart, even if they have that information. And then there are small market teams that actually want to make commitments. And look at the big offer that the Cincinnati Reds gave Ellie De La Cruz. And he said no. They can't afford to keep him. Baseball's different than football and different than basketball. And I am, for the most part, on the side of no salary cap. Players should be able to earn whatever they can earn. But if you're talking about the disparity of the haves and the have-nots, it's never been greater. The amount of money that the Dodgers are spending on one player, Kyle Tucker, over $120 million for 1 year, it dwarfs what some of the teams at the bottom of baseball are paying for their entire teams. There's the argument. But I think that the big sticking point is going to be a team like the Pittsburgh Pirates. They get revenue sharing. They get television money. They don't have a high payroll. And you know what the dirty little secret is? Their owner, Bob Nutting, makes an incredible profit each year from the Pirates. $60 to $70 million in profit each and every year. So he's saying to himself, if I spend that $60 or $70 million that I'm making in profit and put it into my payroll, and my payroll goes from 100 to 170, Can I still compete with the Dodgers and the Mets and the Phillies? No. So I'll just pocket the 60 to 70 million. And therein lies the rub that's going to have to be worked out between the owners, because I don't think that the smaller market teams want to have a floor. So if the cap is going to be 320 million, they're going to say that every team has to spend at least 210 million. You think that the Pirates want to do that? You think that the Reds want to do that? You think that the Royals want to do that? The Marlins, the Rays? Not only do they not want to do it, they probably can't. That's why negotiations in baseball are always difficult. It's not owners against players. It's owners against players. Let's see if they're all lined up. If that contract that Kyle Turka got angered them so much that they are now united, because only 8 teams dissenting blows the whole thing up. So the Dodgers will probably dissent. Steve Cohen will dissent. I don't think the Yankees will be dissenters anymore. They don't want to have the Dodgers be able to have a $610 million expenditure on payroll. They don't want that. Even though the Yankees have great revenue, they do not want that where personal wealth plays a role. Otherwise, they become like the Buss family, where Jeannie Buss cashed out because she said, I can't compete. And that's in a cap sport. So in an uncapped sport, there's an ability to really not compete. So I do disagree with Jeff, and if you're smart and you keep Bobby Witt Jr. Okay, so if they keep Bobby Witt Jr., which they did, and they can't keep anybody else, you can't win with one player in baseball. You can win with one great player in basketball, and if you have a quarterback in football, you got a shot. You got a shot. Chris in Barnegat. Chris.
Hey, Mike. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. Yes. I mean, you just stole my thunder a little bit. I could not disagree with Jeff Passan any more than what he said about the smart owners or the smart organizations. There's a ton of dumb organizations. But anyways, my main reason. He also always says that the system is broken, but then never agrees or says anything to fix the system with Major League Baseball. I personally am in favor of a salary cap. I'm a huge Yankee fan, and I know it's probably hypocritical of me to say that because of the Yankee spending habits in the past. But I just, if everyone knows, I mean. It's most likely going to happen, but everyone knows the Dodgers are going to be very competitive this year and probably most likely they're going to win the World Series. How is that good for Major League Baseball? No other team can spend like that. I think you need to really just bring these teams in together and get a salary cap. I really do.
It's you know what, you could say that, Chris, but you know, the players are going to fight it. The players are going to fight it, and if Major League Baseball gets the salary cap, it's going to be because they're going to appeal to the rank and file. So you're going to have the executive committee of Major League Baseball, which is made up of the highest paid players, and most of them are Boras clients, and they're going to fight it. And the last collective bargaining agreement would strengthen the tax, but the tax didn't hold back Cohen, and it didn't hold back the Dodgers, and it didn't hold back the Yankees either. They suggested to the rank and file, do not accept this deal. And the deal was overwhelmingly accepted. I think the Major League Baseball is gambling on that. They're saying that if an offer is made to the players and there's no pressure from the executive committee, they will vote not to lose a season. And even some of these big-time players, let's just take out 2 Yankees and 1 Met. So you're Aaron Judge. You've got your bag, 360 over 9 years. So in 2027, you're going to be 35 to 36 years old. You're willing to give up that year of your career? Might be one of the last productive years that you have. You're going to be willing to give that up to fight for future players. I mean, the altruistic thing is, yeah, you're Juan Soto. You want to give up $50 million? You've got your bag. There are no more contracts for this after Juan Soto. That's it. You want to give up that year, never get it back, and lose $50 million. You're Garrett Cole. Now, I think Garrett Cole would give it up. I think all of these guys would. But Garrett Cole, $36 million, you're going to be 37 years old in 2027. So your career, the sands through the hourglass, it's going. You're going to give up that year to battle for future players. Now, that in a good union, that's the way it works. But there are going to be players that say, I got a lot of people that I support with this money. And I have a finite amount of years in the big leagues. I am not giving up a year of my earning potential. Now let's look at the owners. The owners could say the same thing. Baseball's hot right now. Great World Series. 2028, there's going to be new national television contracts where everybody's going to get their bag. Do we want to stop all that progress and shut down the game for a year to get a salary cap? Is that what we want to do? But let's not, slow this show down talking about something that we'll talk plenty about in 2027, starting December 1st of this year, because that's when the lockout will probably begin. Right now, it's about Yankees get Bellinger, Mets get Robert. Good move for both teams. We've got Mike Lupica coming up in just a moment, so stay tuned for that. It's the K Show. You could be watching us right now on ESPN's YouTube channel. A lot of people do, and we thank you for that. And, of course, listening on 880 ESPN and ESPN New York, the app.
Show your team spirit and save big only at Security Dodge during the Start Something New sales event. For a limited time, score an extra $500 off on top of all rebates and new incentives just for coming in and wearing your favorite team's jersey or swag. High school, college, or pro, football, basketball, hockey, and every sport in between. It's easy to win big at Security Dodge in Amityville. Visit us today or shop 24/7 at securitydodge.com.
Hey, New York and New Jersey, commitment issues? No problem. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $25 a month forever, as in for life. Switch now at boostmobile.com. After 30 gigabytes, you may experience slower speeds. Pay $25 a month as long as you stay on the Boost Mobile Unlimited plan.
FanDuel is turning on playoff mode. All customers get a profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Each game day during the championship round, you'll find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you in the app. More boosts means more ways to level up your playoff bets. You can pick the matchups you believe in, take your shot on an upset, or build a parlay that fits the moment. Whatever you like, bet it. Only on FanDuel. Then apply your profit boosts and go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs keep rolling. Each game day during the championship round, you'll find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you in the app. So visit FanDuel.com/local and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Must be 21 and older and physically present in New York. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions do apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY at 467369.
Hi, I'm John D'Agostino from D'Agostino & Associates, the injury firm. You know what's interesting about the words personal injury? The first word is person. And at D'Agostino & Associates, that word means everything. That's because I handpick every person in our firm, from the pleasant professional person who answers your call to the experienced person litigating your case in court. Because every person in my firm is an extension of me, and the only way to exceed our clients' expectations is to deliver the highest level of personal service every single time. And that starts with hiring the right people. You see, we know that every client is a person too. Someone going through the toughest time in their lives and deserves to be more than just a file number. At D'Agostino & Associates, we put the person back in personal injury. So call 1-800-BITE-BACK. That's 1-800-248-3222 and ask for me, John D'Agostino. And let's talk about your case, person to person. D'Agostino Law Bite Back.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN right now to try it for free, and you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of?
Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-568-3344. 800-568-3344. 800-568-3344.
Welcome back to the show. Big news today, Luis Robert Jr. gets traded to the Mets. A good pickup for them. And the Yankees get back Cody Bellinger. 5 years, $162.5 million. The Knicks are stumbling right now. They play the Nets tonight. Let's talk about all of it with our good friend, Mike Lupica, the best-selling writer, columnist for the Daily News, MLB.com. Mike joins us now. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Michael. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Do you like the Robert pickup as much as I do?
I do. It's funny, Michael. The Mets keep bringing in players who weren't good last year, but were either good the year before that or a couple of years ago. They did it with Semien. Now they're doing it with Robert. I think his upside is tremendous. All it is Steve Cohen money. And if he's not going to spend it now, when's he going to spend it? So I think it's an upgrade, certainly over what else they had playing center field, and now they have to hope, and Mike, you saw him more than I did, just in games that he played against the Yankees, that he goes back to being what he was in 2023?
Mm-hmm. And he's a great defender, so even if he doesn't hit, and you want him to hit, and the upside is there, as you mentioned, but he's a 7 outs above average center fielder, so they got great in center field, and, the GM had talked about run prevention, kind of went away with that, having a third baseman never played there, first baseman never played there, but up the middle, they're pretty strong now.
Yeah, I mean, the run prevention thing will be interesting to see. Maybe Bo Bichette will turn out to be a good third baseman, and maybe Polanco can be better at first base than Pete Alonso was. I don't know how that happens considering how inexperienced he is at this stage in his career. But, Stearns is doing stuff. He had to do stuff. Are his fans convinced? Probably not. Probably not. It's tough for him to get back out from under the Alonso and the Diaz thing. But again, this was an 83-79 team that collapsed. He has a right as the head of baseball operations to think that he had to try it another way. He has done that dramatically. Maybe there's still stuff he can do between now and even the starter pitchers and catchers, but I'll ask the same question about Robert that I asked about Bichette and Polanco. Can they pitch?
And, he said during the press conference today that still, he wants to get another starting pitcher, and, he's got a robust farm system that he could deal from, so we'll see how much of that he wants to give up. Now, are you cool with Bellinger coming back to the Yanks?
I am, Michael, but I have a feeling that I don't want to sound cynical about this, but if this deal took this long to get done, and it happens this close to the month of February, this strikes me as a marriage of convenience. In this sense, Michael, I don't think Scotty Boras found a better offer out there for his guy. I think he thought there was maybe going to be more of a market for Cody Bellinger than there actually was. And a Yankee fan friend of mine likes Bellinger, and he said to me today, if Scott could have got him 6 years, he would have gone with the Savannah Bananas. So I think they had to bring him back. I've been writing this and saying this. Not only is Cody Bellinger a plan B for the Yankees for Bellinger, he's plan A, he's plan B, he's plan C. Everybody else had come off the board. In my mind, I know this sounds nuts, I still think they could have used Bo Bichette, even though he's not an outfielder, more than they could have used Bellinger just because he's a right-handed hitter. We'll see. Mike, we've talked about this before. I think Cashman is convinced that getting Garrett Cole back all he has to do is basically roll out what he had last year. And I know they won 94 games, and I know that was tied with the Blue Jays for the most in the American League. But I'll give you these stats again because there was a flaw with this Yankee team, and the flaw was how they performed against good teams. They were 28-34 in the regular season against the other playoff teams. They were 5-8 in the regular season against the Jays, 6-11 overall against Toronto. Overall last year, there were 16 teams aside from the Yankees who finished with a record of 500 or better. The Yankees had a losing record against 8 of those teams and a winning record against only 4 of them. So if they are going to roll it back and put an awful lot of confidence at Garrett Cole at this stage in his life, coming off of Tommy John surgery, they're going to have to show up against good baseball teams a lot better than they did last year.
Now, one thing that I would push back slightly on that is you got Schlittler for the whole year, so you're hoping that he performs like that over 32 starts the way he did over like 12. And then you kind of made your moves at the trade deadline. I mean, Bednar is a huge upgrade over the way that Devin Williams was pitching, and Doval seemed like he figured it out at the end. The bottom line with all of those numbers that you gave, Mike, a lot of that was accrued during that awful June again, which they have to avoid. And maybe if they have a better team at the beginning of the year than they did at the end of the year, maybe that number is better. Maybe that's what they're thinking.
Michael, that's a very fair point. And I'll just say, as far as Bednar is concerned, and I know he had a good track record for a bad team in Pittsburgh, you know, in the words of the great old jazz man Dizzy Gillespie, the professional is the one who can do it again. Let's see him do it again under the bright lights for a full season as the Yankee closer, because you know this better than I do. We have seen early speed from Yankee closers before, a la Luke Weaver, and we saw how it came out in the end. So they've placed a pretty big bet on Bednar going into the season, and also on the fact that Rodon is going to come back at a reasonable time, and Clark Schmidt is, I don't know, when are they talking
Probably
about?
the end of
July
August.
Yeah, I was going to say August, right? So the Yankees are a very interesting group because the team you talk about, the team that did have Schlittler and not Garrett Cole for once Schlittler got hot, okay? They still got boat raced by Toronto in the playoffs.
Yes,
so that's a very vivid memory for all, even Yankee fans who want to believe, you know, the thing that fans all want to believe, even if their team has won, that this next year will be better than last year was.
I'll tell you this, Mike, just looking at social media, a lot of Yankee fans don't feel that way. They're very upset about running it back. Now, do you believe that all of this action with the Tucker signing, the Bichette signing by the Mets, that there will definitely be a work stoppage?
Yes. I don't, Mike. It's funny you bring this up. I was thinking about this today. I frankly don't see how it can be avoided. And I know that we have heard before that Armageddon was just over the horizon. Okay. But I think, and I don't, listen, the Dodgers aren't breaking any rules. You and I have talked about this on multiple occasions. Did they figure out a way to game the system with deferred money? They did. But again, they didn't break any written rules about that either. But you wonder how this continues to be sustainable across the sport if one team is willing to pay. Mike, you can do the math on this. What are the Dodgers up to? Over $500 million with taxes and payroll going into the coming season? I don't even know.
I think it's closer to 6.
Is it? Yeah. So
yeah.
I don't know how that's a sustainable business model where you can step back and say, yes, they're playing by the rules, but is it good for the industry as a whole? And I've always said I don't have any problem with the super teams, even though the financial framework in other sports is vastly different because of the salary cap. Like, I loved that we had the Patriots over all that time. I loved that we had the Kansas City Chiefs over all that time. I loved back in the day that the Steelers won 4 Super Bowls in a decade. But everybody was playing by the same rules. Wellington Mara was one of the great heroes in the history of pro football because when the big money started to come into pro football, primarily because of the Giants and those Colts and those games at the end of the 50s, he stood firm and said everybody shares the television money equally. And it made for a better business model for the National Football League. And even though there are ways around it in the NBA, the system kind of works there. Like the Knicks right now are kind of hamstring because of salary constrictions and cap constrictions, that they can't just go out and do anything they want to at the trade deadline. And so I don't know what argument the players can make at a time when the top guys are getting AAVs of $60 and $70 million, that somehow the sky would fall with the salary cap.
And if you look at the other sports, certainly the best players get paid incredible amounts of money. The quarterbacks in the NFL, the great players in the NBA, the cap doesn't seem to stop them from doing that. So that's going to be a tough argument for them. But we have to come down to this, Mike. Who's going to blink? Do players want to give up a year of their career, and do owners want to stop the sport when it's doing very, very well? It's going to be a high-stakes game of chicken.
Oh, Mike, 100%. And by the way, this Players Association is not your parents' Players Association of Marvin Miller and Don Fear and Gene Orza. And it will be fascinating to me and to you and to all of us who love this sport to see if this time they can convince their guys to go out and sit out for a long time and die on a hill about a salary cap when the people in charge can say, well, wait a minute, how come it's working in the other sports and it can't work for us?
Now, before I let you go, how much heat will be put on James Dolan if the Knicks just crap the bed this year?
That's beautifully put, Michael. That's the kind of poetry that back in the day I said we've got to get that kid.
Listen,
from the
they
Post
don't
to
give
come
these
over.
jobs to chimps, Mike. They just
They don't. No. It's as Buck Showalter's dad said, Michael. The easiest jobs don't pay very well. Okay, so it's a great line. No, Mike. Here's what I've been thinking watching the Knicks play lately. Okay. How's all that collaboration that Jim gave as a reason for firing Tibbs? How's that collaboration working right now with Mike Brown's staff? Because guess what? He better figure it out, and Leon Rose has figured it out, now that Jimmy gave that interview and had him, halfway to the Canyon of Heroes?
Mm-hmm.
This team... This is to me, and I had high hopes for this Knicks team. The city is, you know this. We know this back to the 90s when the Knicks got good again. This city's a lot more fun and a lot louder when the Knicks are good, okay? But, oh, my God, they overreacted so wildly to an upset victory over the Celtics that was finished off without the Celtics' best player on the court, and decided that they were about to turn into the 69 and the 73 Knicks. And Mike, you watch them. They don't pass the ball well enough, and they don't guard anybody. And I don't know how you can consider yourself a legitimate championship contender if you don't do those two things. And I'll leave you with this too, Michael, because we talked about this before. Karl Anthony Towns now gets blamed for everything except congestion pricing in New York City. Okay, like, oh, I'm sorry, this is all his fault. When he said, like, he didn't get back one time on defense, it was treated like some sort of sports felony. There's a lot more going on with a guy who I actually think wants to do well. But I wrote this last Sunday, Michael. I'll believe he's going to be here past the trade deadline when he's here past the trade deadline.
Good stuff as always, Mike. We'll talk to you next Wednesday.
Okay, pal. Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot. That's Mike Lupica. You can read him in the Daily News. Joel Sherman of the New York Post reporting that the Mets have just signed Luis Garcia, veteran relief pitcher, to a one-year, $1.75 million contract. That also includes $1.25 million in incentives. So it looks like David Stern's continuing to work on pitching. All right, going to finish it up with your phone calls. A couple of other things we want to hit as well. 1-800-919-3776. We are leading you right into Don Hahn and Rosenberg, and they will start at 3 o'clock. Hey, FanDuel is turning on playoff mode. All customers get a profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Each game day during the championship round, you'll find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you in the app. More boosts mean more ways to level up your playoff bets. Pick the matchups you believe in, take a shot on an upset, or build a parlay that fits the moment. Hey, the Patriots are traveling to Denver, and the Rams are traveling to Seattle. Will either one of those visiting teams make it to the Super Bowl? Then apply your profit boost and go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs keep rolling. So visit FanDuel.com/local and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. 21 plus and physically present in New York. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ETHOS.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Talk about stepping up. Bang! Bang! It's time to level up your game. Introducing the all-new ESPN app. All of ESPN, all in one place. Your home for the most live sports and the best championship moments.
The electricity is palpable.
Step up your game with no annual contract required. It's the ultimate fan experience. Level up for more on the ESPN app or at stream.espn.com. Sign up now.
Welcome to Jake's 58 Casino Hotel, where excitement never stops. Unleash the fun with 2 floors of gaming action, featuring 1,000 cutting-edge video and electronic machines. Enjoy exceptional service at a prime location that places you right in the heart of Long Island's excitement. Stay and play in style with over 200 hotel rooms and treat yourself to a full range of dining options at Jake's 58 Casino Hotel.
If gambling is a problem for you or someone you care about, please call the 24-hour toll-free helpline at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
Benjamin Franklin, sir, I've just received news.
Speak.
They're multiplying you.
Multiplying me?
Yes, many times.
Multiple Benjamins?
Shall I stop it?
No.
Multiply your Benjamins with New York Lottery's Extra Multiplier Scratch-Off games. Play for the chance to multiply your winnings up to 100 times. Prizes up to $3 million.
I've won! I've multiplied myself!
We won! Please play responsibly. Must be 18 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
1-877-CARS for kids. KARS Cards for Kids.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS for Kids.
1-877-CARS for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Presented by Robinhood.
It crosses, spins, pulls up.
With Robinhood Prediction Markets, buy or sell your predictions all game long. No house odds, just you versus the market. Put your sports IQ to work. Trade every shot, block, steal, run, and moment that shifts the game. With Robinhood Prediction Markets, trade every play. Visit Robinhood.com/predict to start trading. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.
Knicks fans, it's time for basketball, and the action starts tonight at Crompton Ale House with Team ESPN New York and Ultra. Whether you need a pregame spot or you're looking for the right Knicks bar to watch the game versus the Nets, Crompton Ale House is your destination. The party tips off at 7 p.m., and Team ESPN will be giving away ESPN, Ultra, and Knicks prizes. Join fellow Knicks fans tonight at 159 West 26th Street. Cheer on your Knicks, enjoy Ultra draft and bottle specials, and cool prizes all game long at Crompton Ale House.
Smalls here. Life is full of choices, some big, some small. And when you choose an H&R Block Tax Pro, you're choosing the largest network of tax expertise to be in your corner. For when your big ambitions need help with the small details. For when your 6 figures come from 6 different places. For when your gaming stream becomes your revenue stream. For when your business's year 1 needs 70 years of tax know-how. At H&R Block, they've seen it all. And they're here to help you make the most out of your money for life outside the box.
Hey fans! Welcome back
to Fansville's cheers and tears. Oh. Okay, so like everybody deals with losing, right? To a rival on a last-second field goal. Whatever, it's fine. I'm totally fine. But I cope with losing with an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Those 23 flavors are like so delicious. They totally wash away the pain of your college football team taking a big fat L. College football, it's a pepper thing.
In the city that never sleeps and never stops talking sports, ESPN New York is always on. Now you can live and breathe everything New York sports wherever you are. On your radio dial, on the ESPN New York app, and streaming live on YouTube. However you watch or listen, ESPN New York is always on for you. Hear us, stream us, watch us. This is ESPN New York.
You know, we talk about, the teams that are doing the short-term, higher average annual value moves. If you take a deep dive into this Bellinger contract, it's kind of like that. All right, so for the first 2 years of this contract, with the $20 million signing bonus, he's guaranteed $85 million. And then he has an opt-out after that second year. Well, years 3, 4, and 5, it's essentially $80 million divided by 3. So he might opt out because the money's not going to be nearly what it is in the first 2 years. The first 2 years, he's getting about $41 million a year if you count the $20 million signing bonus, and you have to count that. So this is one of those short-term average annual values. Now, he's going to be 32 years old. Will he opt out at that time? Will the landscape of the financials be different? If there is a salary cap, only time will tell. But at this point, you can almost assure yourself he's going to opt out and hope that there's more than $26 million a year out there for him. And if he puts 2 good years together and there is no salary cap, you know what? There will be more money out there for him. So the Yankees did do, this is one of those short-term average annual contracts that are kind of like, disguised as a longer-term contract. Interesting, right? Hall of Fame yesterday, Carlos Beltrán gets in at 84.2%, Andruw Jones at 78.4%. Andruw Jones in his first 2 years came out with 7.3%. So it's a stratospheric rocketing up the charts for him. Now, he had 1 year of eligibility left, but nobody has ever started that low and gotten into the Hall of Fame. Andruw Jones did, right? So at 7.3%, he was about 9 votes away from being taken off the ballot. About 9 votes away. And I will say this: there's a couple of things that happened with this. Beltrán, we know, was involved in the sign stealing scandal for the Astros. I always thought that he was the guy who took the brunt of it. He lost his managerial job with the Mets because of it. If you look at his numbers, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He waited till the 4th year to have to get in, but he's in and he deserves to be in. But for those Yankee fans that think, well, Jose Altuve's never going to get in because obviously with the sign stealing scandal, he's going to get in. And he deserves to get in. He's a great player. He's definitely a Hall of Famer. And the voting bloc looks at it and says, you know what? We look at that different than the PED stuff. We just do. Now, Utley was third, 59.1%, so he's going to eventually get in. Pettit has 2 more years left on the 10-year ballot. He jumped up to 48.5%. And I said this yesterday, too, and everybody who listens to the show knows how I feel about Andy Pettit. He's just one of the best people I've ever met, and I hope he gets into the Hall of Fame. But he did admit to using HGH twice. And for those that are voting for him, that doesn't matter to them, right? Because they say, well, he used it so he could get back on the field from an injury. Okay, great. My good friend Jack Curry, who I respect as much as anybody, if not more, said he looks at what Andy did as a speeding ticket, and he looks at what the others did as a big-time crime. And a lot of people say, well, Andy did that before there was testing, before there were rules or anything like that. Okay, understand all of it. Then why is Gary Sheffield not in? Because Gary Sheffield said, first of all, he took it inadvertently, and that was before testing began. So you're going to look at one form of breaking the rules differently than you look at the other form. So Manny Ramirez, that was his 10th year on the ballot. He's off the ballot. So if he's ever going to get into the Hall of Fame, when you look at his numbers, he's a Hall of Famer. His numbers are Hall of Fame numbers. Bottom line is, you look at them and say, if there was no PEDs involved in the 2 suspensions, he's in automatically. So he's gone. Alex is halfway through his 10-year stint on the ballot, and he's stuck at 40. Bonds and Clemens didn't get in. But a guy like Andy, he might get in. And his numbers would indicate he should get in. So people have waited this long, but they're looking at his breaking of the rules, which he admitted, and he's a top-of-the-line guy, and they're saying, well, that's different than what the other rules were broken. And Alex served the longest suspension ever. Manny Ramirez, obviously, served suspensions as well. But as for Clemens and Bonds, you could say that Andy did the HGH so he could get back from injury. True. Well, Bonds and Clemens did it because they wanted to be great. So did A-Rod. Doesn't that help their team? Because in baseball, the better an individual does, the bottom line is the better the team does. That's the way it looks at it, right? I just got a text from somebody, which gives me some information, but it's off the record, so I can't say it. Maybe I'll be able to get it on the record by tomorrow. So another reason for you to tune in. This has been an interesting day. Great trade for the Mets. I really believe the potential will be a great trade in getting Luis Robert Jr. You get a great defensive center fielder. The Yankees get back Cody Bellinger, 162.5 over 5 years, which is pretty much what the Yankees said that they were going to stop at. And no trade clause, $20 million signing bonus. So there it is, all there. Both teams got better today. Are their fan bases satisfied? Probably not, because fan bases usually aren't satisfied, but slowly but surely, they're putting together teams that will compete for a playoff spot and a championship this year. 1-800-919-3776 if you want to call in for Don Hahn and Rosenberg. They'll be on in just a moment. Thank you for joining me here on this Wednesday. We'll be back again tomorrow at 1. In the words of Billy Joel, life is a series of hellos and goodbyes. I'm afraid it's time for goodbye again. See everybody. Have a wonderful day.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we